Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. In this rural community in northern Lesotho, it's not just a belief, it's a lifestyle.
The shade net was actually constructed by me, by my hands, and my father when you look at it. So we are the ones, we just bought material, and we didn't have money at that time to actually have, expert laborers to actually put it together for us. We were like, you know what, how hard can this be?
I met Mope in 2012 when I was applying to ALA. That was during the finalist weekend when I met him, and lucky for me, it was also my birthday the day we met. So it's very difficult for me to forget that.
Because the biggest vision, which is something I should have said in the beginning, we want Pelaso to become a food basin for the northern part of Lesotho and possibly the entire country. That is where we are going. We want to make sure that we produce.
My name is Marema Mafantiri, and I work as Honorable Mope Khati's Chief of Staff, and I was formerly an ALA student, class of 2012.
Solving too much of advanced problems and actually leaving problems of majority of the people in Lesotho who may not even worry about not having internet.
The farm has always been part of Mope's life, as far as I remember him. I think at ALA he was member, was it Akhanang, the campus farm at the time.
Once the fundamental things that keep us alive, which is food, we are not putting enough effort to ensure how sustainable we can be able to produce our own food, then I believe we are missing a point in terms of improving the quality of our people.
When we get to the final destination, we're gonna spend more time walking. So it's a very good idea that you get very comfortable shoes and so you can move around. At 9, can you please assemble by the main gate of the...
I have had a privilege to be given an assistance by the Holy Fellowship Program by providing Morema as a Chief of Staff in my office as Member of Parliament.
The Holy Where Africa Fellowship is a program that places young youth who are African into decision-making rooms. This is done by placing them as a chief of staff or a technical assistant and sometimes a special advisor to a leader in their country. This leader can be a member of parliament, it can be a minister or a deputy minister, it can be an envoy at the African Union, or it can be a member of parliament or senator. It really depends on the structure of the government in that country.
Sometimes I can't describe my role because it changes so much, right, according to the needs that we have at the time. But generally what I do with Mope is we sit down and try to strategize for whatever priorities they are in the community at that moment.
I speak with him, I sit with Morema, share with him what my vision for the constituency is, but then he's the person who then helps me to say, I understand your vision, but now let's take it step by step. There is so much innovative ideas that are going to come out of this place. So we don't call it a farm, it's an agriculture innovation hub.
Right now I'm just coordinating, finding the right people to do things. Like finding Spapo here, who is our built environment consultant. Yes, so he's helping us with the drawings and all the stuff that has to do with architecture and space. We're to the cars and then we'll go to the piggery, then the clinic. Yeah. Oh yes, this is our traditional mode of transport.
This is just the idea. It's a piggery project, fully constructed, has all the requirements that... You called me here to come and discuss some of the challenges that you are facing as the facility.
From developing agricultural projects to supporting health initiatives for the people of Menkhoaneng, Morema was a long way from the software development and IT world. He earned a bachelor's degree in computing from the African Leadership University, Mauritius, and then went on to work in the energy, education, and technology sectors, until he learned about the Omoliwe Africa Fellowship.
The first time I learned about the fellowship was through a WhatsApp text and LA Alumni Lesotho group. Literally a week later, Mope hit me up again. And we were just talking about how work is going now that he was elected and all of that. That's when he mentioned that there's opportunity for me to work with them through the Umholi Africa Fellowship.
Morema, who wasn't a local to Menkhoaneng, spoke highly of its people and how much they valued integrity.
It's one of those places where you don't get rewarded just by being born here. If you don't do well as a representative here, they'll definitely vote you out. It means the work you do here as a public servant is even more scrutinized. You have to be more accountable to the people you work with. Menkhoaneng is very special for Basotho for a very special reason. This is where King Moshoeshoe I, the founder of the Basotho nation, was born. What we're learning is we can play a role, and we're about to share some of the ideas in which
Public speaking isn't something that Morema particularly enjoys, but given the nature of his work, it is something he has had to learn to overcome.
At ALU, I studied computing, and this is something that I always find interesting when I think about my current role, because most of my job is project management, right? Because we are doing so many things. One of the main things you learn as a software engineer is project management, and you realize that you have to be agile to respond to people's needs, which is how you do software management, right? You change your needs, your development goals, you change your tasks based on how your users or your customers respond to your software. I find myself today working in a role where I'm not necessarily applying those things on a day-to-day basis, but yet still feels like I am doing the thing I should be doing. We're headed to the Mapete Arts and Culture Museum. Here is where a combination of local artists and some of our development partners are working together to create a museum where different people can show their work.
By investing time and resources into this art project, Morema gets to explore his passion for the conservation and celebration of Basotho culture and history.
Imagine if it went a bit lower.
My two main drivers is my passion for my culture and my nation, and also in believing in the vision we had with Mope, right? I think on the past weekend, we're able to condense most of the ideas we've been pursuing over a year and a half and presenting them to everyone to see and learn about the work we do. The politics in Lesotho are very volatile. Like, we've had so many prime ministers in the last 10 years, more than we have to. We need to have at least two. We've had 4, I think, or 5.
With that many prime ministers in such a short amount of time, it's obvious that people are searching for something. So what do the people want?
There's 3 main things that people want, right? Okay, let's say 4. They want a job, they want roads to the house, they want electricity, they want clean water. And those are the main services that every MP has to see how they deliver to their people in this country, right? So you know that when you're not giving them that, which we don't have the power to, they're gonna complain.
Just like I said, I'm just going to show you through the facilities of the Parliament. I'll show you some key offices that actually assist us as members of Parliament here. We caucus mainly here in Parliament. It's a gathering by each political party where they discuss motions and any issues that have to be discussed in the House. So here, this is the floor where we have the chamber.
It's just a building, but it's also incredible because it's where such important things are decided, you know. Whenever I see us do good work or I see results of the work we do, I'm like, man, imagine if there was 2 of us in parliament. Maybe, we could be more effective. And then there's times when I see the chaos that comes with that responsibility. I'll have to grow emotionally first to be able to handle. But when it comes to working with policy and shaping the future of the country, that's something I could see myself continue to do and hopefully do even more involved than I am right now.
When we first met, he didn't know how to put together a strategic plan, let alone for an entire constituency. And we got on a call and we worked on a strategic plan together for hours. And he put it together. I saw him grow right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, so right now Mope and I just have a meeting to recap on the weekend and make action plan for the rest of the week.
Morema had barely slept this entire weekend, but this was what the work called for. Accountability. How was time spent? Money. Other resources. What do we get done? What do we have left to do? These were the questions.
So we just concluded our meeting and set up plans for the week and the next 2 weeks. So yeah, now I just need to rest because I've been working for about 8 days straight. So I need to catch a nap,
Morema is the only chief of staff in all of Lesotho. But somehow he still managed to make time for family. On the way to dinner with his siblings, Morema's sister had this to say about politics.
We've just been lied to a lot in this country. We've seen things being done, so I had no respect for anyone who did politics. But ever since he started joining, having conversations with him, and I'm seeing the passion in him, I'm like, actually, there's work to be done, and if there's anyone I trust with doing it, it's him. So now I'm not so opposed to the idea anymore.
I think when you're consistent with your values and you're consistent with your mission, people eventually see what you stand for, and if they don't want to believe in you, then at that point it's just on them. But most people tend to change their minds. And I think the main story that also keeps me going is remembering why we are doing all this stuff, right? Started with a dream for Africa, developed into a team for Africa, Shule Africa. So yeah, until we can have a peaceful and prosperous continent, I don't think we have any reason to rest.